PFL 2021 Week 5 regular season full card prediction. The main event, Rory McDonald and Tibau, Ray Cooper III and Nicole Alicasta in the co-main event. Emiliano Sordi and Dan Spohn, Zeferino and Chris Kamazi right there. And then on the prelims, absolutely stacked prelims. Antonio Carlos Jr., Vinny Magalhaes, Martin Hamlet Nelson, and Corey Hendricks, Jason Pontier, and Joao Zeferino, Magomedkerimov, and Curtis Melender right there. Minus 1,000 on the betting odds right there. Tom Lawler and Jordan Young, and then Alexei Gushenko, and then Sadie Boise. Lots of good fights right here. There's a lot of fights that are very, very confident. I mean, you got minus 600 odds on Rory, you got minus 1,000 odds on Magomedkerimov, which is absolutely insane, but it should be a really, really good fight card. We'll look at some of the underdog bets we could make on the fight card, some parlays, everything like that. But yeah, let's get into our full card prediction right now. We got the first fight on the fight card right here for PFL 2021 regular season in the welterweight fight right here. Sadie Boise and Alexei Gushenko in the welterweight division. Alexei Gushenko, really, really good record of 20 wins and 2 losses. Only losses to Gilbert Burns and then Elizabeth inside of the UFC. Other than that, looks really, really good with 20 wins inside of the UFC and inside of M1 Challenge. Lots of knockout wins with 12 knockouts, 2 submissions, and 6 decision wins right there. His main way of winning will probably be to close that distance, land a big right hand, and get that knockout win, or do the wrestling and do that grappling, because we know a guy like Sadie Boise being 6'3" tall with a 10-inch, absolutely insane. A 10-inch reach advantage for Sadie Boise right here. Of course, he's not going to win the fight to hit the mat. Alexei Gushenko, close that distance, clinch up and start landing combinations in the clinch. Just close that distance and land those combinations. Go for the double leg takedown, get on top, and then grapple and wrestle for 3 straight rounds. Before that, maybe get some ground and pound, and maybe get the submission by his main path to victory. Close the distance, clinch, wrestle, and grapple for the decision win. Sadie Boise, is pretty obvious how he's going to win the fight. Keep the fight at range. I mean, come on. 6'3" tall, and a literal 7-inch height advantage, and a 10-inch reach advantage. And the age advantage as well, being 34 and a half years old. So many things going for Sadie Boise right here. The range, the height, the kickboxing, the body case, the leg case, everything like that. At range, this man is going to win the fight. So, it's a close one in my opinion. 92%, oh my god. 92% going Gushenko right here. I do not agree with this pick right here. This is one of the fights that I do think could be a good underdog bet for Sadie Boise right here. A lot of people are confident in Alexei Gushenko just because of the record. You see a record like that, 20 wins and 2 losses. Then you see a guy like Sadie Boise's record of 8 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws. Not necessarily the best record, of course. But with that height, with that reach, and in the last fight, showing some pretty decent takedown defense against Nicole Alicasta, who does have some really, really good wrestling. That's all I really need to know right here. I think this is a good underdog bet. The betting odds for the fight right here, minus 200 and then plus 150 right here. I would maybe drop a little bit on Sadie Boise. I'm curious to see if the betting odds are going to spread out and have Alexei Gushenko as even more of a favorite, or if they're going to close down in the next couple of days. Not too sure what's going to happen right there, but right now, I do think it's a 50-50 fight. Could go either way. I'm very, very not confident in either fighter, because if Sadie Boise keeps a fight on the feet, he's going to win the fight at range. If Alexei gets a fight to the ground, he's going to win the fight in the wrestling, grappling, and get that decision win. So this is a 50-50 fight. If you're going to be betting on the favorite, I probably advise you not to do that. I think there's a lot of ways Sadie Boise could win the fight. So this is one of those. Bet the underdog or just pass on the fight completely. Sadie Boise and Alexei Gushenko right there. I am slightly going to go Alexei Gushenko to wrestle and grapple to a decision win right here. But I do think it is 50-50. I think the odds are minus 115, minus 105 right here, with a very, very slight favor at that for Alexei Gushenko. Could go either way. I would not bet Alexei in the fight. If you're going to bet the underdog or pass the fight right here. But should be a really, really good fight in the welterweight division right there. Tom Lawler and Jordan Young. Tom Lawler, not necessarily the best record. Being 38 years old. A little bit of a height advantage and a little bit of a reach advantage right there. And especially the 38-year-old guy right here. Having the age disadvantage, the height disadvantage, the reach disadvantage. And then the record, 10 wins and 8 losses. He is is a wrestler usually looking to get the fight down, ground and pound, ground and pound, ground and pound, and look for either the TKO win or a dominant decision win, or maybe even a rear naked choke submission. Out of his 8 losses, 3 submission losses, 4 decision losses, and 1 knockout loss right here. In my opinion, this prediction right here is very, very simple. Jordan Young is going to be taller, going to be lengthier, and in my opinion, he's going to be the better grappler with 11 wins and 1 loss. Very, very good submission skills on the ground. 11 wins, 1 loss. Only 1 loss to Julius Anglikas inside of Bellator. Other than that, triangle, rear naked, armbar, triangle, darce, triangle again, guillotine, rear naked, triangle. The man has really, really good submission skills. I think he's going to get another submission win right here. Sorry about that. Tom Lawler doesn't necessarily have the power on the feet to win a knockout right here, so his main path to victory would be on top of Jordan Young and just dominating on top with ground and pound to a decision win. That's his main way of winning, but I just don't see that happening. Jordan Young is a better grappler. It's a little bit stronger, a little bit lengthier, so even in the striking game with a high end, with that reach, could honestly just win the fight on the feet by I think if Tom Lawler is going to go for takedowns, Jordan Young will defend. If Jordan Young goes for takedowns, I think Tom Lawler will mostly defend, but eventually I do think that Jordan Young will get the fight to the ground. And that leads me to my prediction of Jordan Young going out there, grappling and wrestling, getting on top, and getting another arm triangle, or maybe a rear naked choke submission. It really doesn't matter what submission he's going to get. I do think he will get a submission. Whatever it's going to be, I think he's going to get that submission win in the first or second round right here. Minus 350 seems a little bit steep. I mean, it was minus 200 just, I believe, 1 day ago, so we kind of missed out on the really, really good odds. So, for this one right here, minus 350, it's a little bit much. I don't know if the odds are going to shimmer down a little bit, but at the value that they have them right there, I think there's a lot of other better picks on the fight card, like Joel Zeferino, who has better odds than I am more confident in winning. So I think this is one of those I probably stay away from betting on for Tom Lawler and Jordan Young right here. But overall, good fight in the light heavyweight division. My prediction is going to be going towards Jordan Young to dominate the fight on top in the grappling and wrestling game and get a submission, even in the striking game, dominate there. So either way, submission win in the first or second round right there. Magomedkerimov and Curtis Melender in the welterweight division. Magomedkerimov, the 66th best welterweight fighter in the world, 27 wins and 5 losses, a little bit less in the height department, a lot less in the reach department right there. Of course, the main way Curtis will win the fight would of course be on the feet, using that reach, using that height, and probably going to be needing a knockout win in the first or second round. Out of his wins so far, 6 knockouts, 12 decisions, and 0 submission wins right there. So of course he needs this fight to stay on the feet. But you look at a guy like Magomedkerimov, amazing wrestling, amazing grappling, amazing ground, everything to do with the ground game. He's just so far superior than a guy like Curtis Melender. We watched the last fight with Rory McDonald and Curtis Melender. It was pretty much a domination from Rory McDonald. I think the exact same thing is going to happen right here. Magomed is going to go out there, wrestle, grapple, get on top, and I do think he's going to get that submission. I think we're going to see a lot of submission wins for PFL 2021 week fee right here. Week 5 right here. But this is another one I do think will be a submission. The betting odds, insane. Minus 1,000 for Magomedkerimov and minus 910 right there as well. So this is one of those, I think you just plop him in a parlay. Whatever you're going to do, say you have Rory McDonald, say you got Al-Khatib and Emiliano Sordi, whatever you're going to do, just why not just add Magomedkerimov right there? So whatever you're going to do, this man is just a parlay piece, not necessarily looking to put him in a straight bet, because I mean minus 1,000, you're going to put him in a parlay, a perfect parlay piece. I think this is the only one, maybe besides the main event right here, that is a for sure, in my opinion, lock on the fight card. He's going to dominate the fight in the grappling and wrestling game. I got to win in the fight by submission in the first or second round right there. Joao Zeferino and Jason Ponette in the welterweight division. Very, very confident in Joao Zeferino right here. 25 wins and 9 losses. 35 and a half years old. A little bit less tall and way, way less of a reach than Jason Ponette. Of course, Jason Ponette needs this fight to stay on the feet. We don't really really know much about him. I've been looking a lot to find some film on Jason Bonnier. Could only find like 4 or 5 fights of film, but all I do know from finding the film is he needs his fight to stay on the feet. In the grappling wrestling game, we saw exactly what happened with Ray Cooper III. Got dominated and lost a fight by submission. Rear naked choke submission loss. Rear guillotine submission loss right there. Lots of submission losses on his record so far right there. 11 losses by submission. So he does not want anything to do with the grappling and wrestling, especially if Joao Zeferino right here, who has very, very good submission and grappling skills. Right now, having 16 submission wins. So, of course, Joao Zeferino goes out there, wrestle, grapple, and look for the submission. Jason Bonnier defend the takedowns, which I find very unlikely, but defend the takedowns, keep the fight on the feet at range, and look to win the fight in a close striking decision win. But this is an easy prediction in my opinion. I don't know if there's much of a way for Jason Bonnier to win the fight. Doesn't have much power in his hands, so I find it hard to believe he's going to win a decision, especially with Joao Zeferino just going for takedowns over and over and over again. So this is one. I'm definitely going to be very confident in Joao Zeferino. I do love the betting odds of -300 right there. I do think he's going to be a little bit spread out in the next couple of days. But right now, if you're on Bet Online for -300, very, very good value in my opinion. A very, very good fight. And I think it's going to be an absolute domination. Joao Zeferino by submission in the first or second round right there in the welterweight division. Martin Hamlet Nielsen and Corey Hendricks. Martin Hamlet Nielsen, really good wrestling, really good ground and pound, and really good grappling skills. Of course, the man wants to get the double leg takedown, wants to get the body leg takedown, just wants the fight to hit the mat and look for the ground and pound. Keep on going for ground and pound, and just keep on going for ground and pound. Eventually, looking to secure that arm triangle choke submission, which I believe he has 3 or 4 of in his professional MMA career. So 3 arm triangles in his career so far. Of course, that's his main way. When you get the fight down, wrestle, grapple, get side control, and try to get that arm triangle choke submission. The betting odds for the fight right here. Let's see if I can find it. -200. That is honestly not too bad. -200 is not bad whatsoever. Corey Hendricks right here, 33 years old, a little bit of a reach advantage. Probably wants his fight to stay on the feet. Has some pretty decent wrestling, some pretty decent grappling, but in this fight, I think he's gonna win the fight to stay on the feet because there's a humongous advantage, in my opinion, in the grappling and wrestling for Martin Hamlet Nielsen. So right here, I just don't know if Corey Hendricks has the ability to win the fight in the striking game. It's very even on the feet, and there is a very good advantage for Martin Hamlet Nielsen in the grappling and wrestling game. So this is one of those where I think it's going to be even in the striking game. It just matters who is going to have the advantage in the grappling and wrestling, and I do think that man will be Martin Hamlet Nielsen. Very likely we see another arm triangle submission. I do think that is a good possibility, maybe a 33-40% chance we see another submission win right here, but I think this fight goes all the way. I think Martin wrestles and grapples for 3 straight rounds, ground and pound, ground and pound, ground and pound, attempts a lot of arm triangles, attempts some rear nakeds, but I don't think he's going to get one. I think this fight goes all the way. My prediction, Martin Hamlet Nielsen will win in the fight by 29-28, a unanimous decision win right there. I do think this is a very, very good pick, a -200, and again, if you're going to put anyone in a parlay, put him with Rory McDonald and put him with Magomedkerimov, and then the odds you have him at there for Martin Hamlet Nielsen, Rory McDonald, and Magomedkerimov. -112 right there. Pretty much even money odds for Martin Hamlet Nielsen, because I do think Magomedkerimov and Rory McDonald are locked. So add all 3 of those guys together. It does. You can add other guys as well, but right there, pretty much even money odds right there. So I do think that he's gonna win the fight in the wrestling and grappling game. So my prediction: Martin Hamlet Nielsen winning that fight by unanimous decision win right there. This should be a really, really good fight in the light heavyweight division. Antonio Carlos Jr. and Vinny Magalhaes. Vinny Magalhaes, amazing grappling, amazing wrestling skills as well. 19 wins and 12 losses. He is 36, almost 37 years old, a lot less lengthy than Antonio Carlos Jr. So right here, Vinny needs to get the fight down, needs to get on top of Antonio Carlos Jr. and land some ground and pound and look for that submission. Antonio probably is going to want this fight to stay on the feet. I do think Vinny will have a slight grappling and wrestling advantage right here. A lot of people think, you see the record, 19 wins, 12 losses, 36 years old. You see that, you're like, whatever. You see Antonio, he's probably going to win the fight. He's in the prime of his MMA career. I don't necessarily think so. Vinny Magalhaes has in my opinion, much better grappling and wrestling. With the 19 wins right there, lots and lots of submission wins, 17 submissions, 1 decision win, and 4 4 knockout wins right there. I think he will win the fight in the grappling and wrestling game. Antonio Carlos Jr. having that reach advantage, not having the height advantage, but having the reach advantage, is gonna need to keep the fight on the feet at range, 1-2, 1-2, leg kicks, body kicks, everything like that, and just defend the takedowns. If he can do that, I do think he will win the fight. But with the betting odds, I say stay away from betting on Antonio Carlos Jr. It is just way too much. I mean, I believe the betting odds right now, minus 240, minus 265, way too much in my opinion. I might consider doing a small underdog bet on Vinny Magalhaes right there. Almost plus 200 odds right there. I think that's a very, very good value pick. I think there's a good possibility we just see Vinny go out there and just go for a takedown after takedown after takedown, and wrestle and grapple for 3 straight rounds to the decision win. But Antonio, I think most likely he will win the fight, of course. But I don't think he should be a minus 260, minus 250 favorite. I personally think he should be around minus 130, minus 140 as a super, super slight favorite. Just because of the striking game and because he could defend the takedowns with the wrestling and grappling that he does possess right here. But this is one of them where if you're going to be betting, do not bet the favorite. It's either underdog, do an underdog bet on Vinny Magalhaes, or just pass on the fight completely. This fight, I'm going to go slightly leaning towards Antonio, but again, do not bet on this fight. Do not bet on Antonio. Only bet underdog or pass on the fight completely. Should be an interesting fight in the light heavyweight division. But my prediction, really, really close, 29-28. Split decision win for Antonio Carlos Jr. right here. Should be an interesting stylistic matchup between two really, really good grapplers in the light heavyweight division right there. Cesar Bajeta and Chris Kamazi right here. I do think this fight mainly will be staying on the feet. Chris Kamazi, mainly known for his kickboxing skills, really good body kicks, leg kicks, head kicks, everything to do with the kicking game. Chris Kamazi is really, really good. Same wrist right there, a little bit of a height advantage. Both guys have a lot of power in their hands and feet, of course. Cesar Bajeta with 14 wins and 8 losses looked amazing in his last fight. A first-round knockout win on Nick Rohrick. 37 seconds in. He looked really, really good in that fight. A lot of submission wins as well. 6 submissions, 5 knockouts, and 5 decision wins. 6 decision wins right there. I think he will have a grappling and a wrestling advantage. That could be a way for him to win the fight in the wrestling and grappling game. Ground pounding and looking for that submission. But I think he might actually keep the fight on the feet and do exactly what he did in his last fight with Nick Rohrick and just pressure the heck out of Chris Kamazi, because at range, that's exactly where Chris Kamazi likes the fight to be. At range, landing those kicks, landing the 1-2, everything like that. That's where Chris Kamazi wants the fight to be. But if Cesar Bajeta can close that distance, kind of threaten with a takedown, but not necessarily like go full blown going for the takedown, just using the takedowns to land some shots in the distance and land some shots in the clinch as well. Go down for the double leg and just go for an uppercut. I think that's going to land a lot in the fight. Cesar Bajeta, pressure Chris to the cage and get the fight to the clinch, land combinations. Implement a little bit of wrestling here and there, because you could use the wrestling fakes and grappling fakes and everything like that to help you in the striking game. I think there's a lot of ways he could use the wrestling fakes in the fight for sure. But Chris Kamazi needs the fight to stay at range, and I just don't think that's going to happen, because with the threat of the takedown, with the threat of the wrestling and grappling, I just don't know. Eventually, he's going to get the fight to the clinch, pull out, and start landing as Chris Kamazi's back into the cage. I think he could get a really nasty knockout win on Chris Kamazi right here. Another big right hand, just like last time against Nick Rohrick right here. Very likely we see a finish, and I do think most likely we do see a finish. My prediction right here is going to be a knockout win for either Cesar Bajeta or Chris Kamazi. If Chris Kamazi will win the fight, it probably would be at range with a body kick or head kick or something crazy like that. I just don't think that's going to happen. Cesar Bajeta pressure the heck out of Chris Kamazi and land a big right hand for the knockout win in the first or second round. That is my prediction right there. Cesar Bajeta by a knockout right there. The betting odds, minus 300 for Cesar Bajeta. I think that's a little bit too much. I'm a little bit more confident in Joao Zeferino right here, who has the exact same odds than I am in Cesar Bajeta. So, this is one of those I probably would just stay away from betting, unless you're like super confident in Cesar Bajeta. I am definitely confident in him winning, but I don't necessarily think he should be a 3-1 favorite, because Chris Kamazi has some deadly body and head kicks. So I think it's a little bit too much, and there's a lot of other fights on here that had these same odds, like Joao Zeferino, who have much bigger chances of winning those fights. So for this one, I probably just say stay away from the fight. But my prediction would be Cesar Bajeta by knockout in the first first or second round right there. Emiliano Sordi and Dan Spohn. Not really liking the odds right here. Let's check the odds right now. Minus 400 for Emiliano Sordi and plus 300. I'll say it right now, before I even get into the prediction or the breakdown or anything like that, this is one of the fights. Underdog bet or just pass on the fight. Minus 400 for Emiliano Sordi, especially after the last fight with Chris Kamazi. It's a little bit worrisome, you know. Minus 400, that's a pretty big favorite, especially on a guy like Dan Spohn, who does have some pretty decent power in his hands, with 8 knockout wins, 5 submission wins, and 7 decision wins right here. Dan Spohn needs the fight to stay in the feet, land a big right hand, and get that knockout win in the first or second round. That is why I just would not be betting on Emiliano Sordi. Again, underdog bet or just pass in the fight completely right here, because there's a good chance Dan Spohn goes out there and lands a big left hand and gets a knockout win in the first or second round right here. But Emiliano Sordi, I think wrestling and grappling would be the path of least resistance right here. 23 wins and 8 losses, lots of ground and pound knockout wins, lots of submission wins as well, 7 submissions, 14 knockouts and 2 decision wins, with a ground and pound knockout win in the first round, another ground and pound knockout win, and yet another ground and pound knockout win. So this is very clear what Emiliano Sordi doesn't need to do. Grapple, wrestle, do exactly what Martin Hamlin Nelson was doing before he did get that arm triangle, get the fight down, double leg takedown, half guard over and over and over again. Pause to get side control and just start laying a lot of ground and pound. But my prediction, of course, is going to be to Emiliano Sordi to win the fight. I'm going to say by decision. I think there's a good chance he could get a TKO from ground and pound, but I do think this fight will go all the way for Emiliano Sordi winning the fight by unanimous decision win right there. Again, would not advise a betting on Emiliano Sordi. I'm literally more confident, again, in Joel Zeferino, who has way better odds at minus 300 than the minus 400 odds for Emiliano Sordi right there. So, would not bet Emiliano Sordi. Maybe a small bet on Dan Spohn. Maybe not just a straight bet on Dan Spohn, just straight up like that. Maybe once the prop bets do come out on Dan Spohn, maybe do Dan Spohn by knockout, which I assume is going to be like plus 500, plus 550, something crazy like that. So I'd probably wait till the prop bets do come out for Dan Spohn and Emiliano Sordi. Up till then, I'd probably just stay away from the fight. So overall, I do think Emiliano Sordi will wrestle, will grapple, and will dominate the fight on the ground to a decision winner right there. Should be a really, really good fight in the light heavyweight division right there. Ray Cooper III and Nicole Al-Khatib in the welterweight division, the co-main event for PFL 2021 Week 5 regular season. Ray Cooper III, 21 wins, 7 losses, and 1 draw. And guess what? Out of those 21 wins, every single one of them is either a knockout, TKO win, or a submission win. Absolutely insane. 14 knockout wins, 7 submission wins, zero decision wins. So of course, if I'm making my prediction right here, of course, if I do have Ray Cooper winning the fight, of course, I mean, it's pretty obvious he's gonna win the fight by either knockout or by submission. But right here, arm triangle over Jason Monette, second round knockout win, lots of knockout wins, and a lot of ground and pound knockout wins as well. Really good wrestling as well. But Nicole Al-Khatib also has a really good wrestling and is gonna have the height and reach advantage right here as well. 4 inches in reach and 2 inches in height. So in the striking game, of course, Ray Cooper has a very good, powerful right hand. It could get the knockout, of course. Definitely a good possibility by Nicole Al-Khatib with the height and with the reach. Overall, as the fight goes on, Nicole Al-Khatib, I do think will start to win the fight in the striking exchanges with the height and with the reach. So, right here, I give Nicole Al-Khatib the striking advantage, and in the wrestling game, 50-50. Ray Cooper III, really good wrestling, amazing ground pound, and pretty decent submission skills by Nicole Al-Khatib. Has a Sambo background, coming from like Dagestan, Russia. He's training from all those guys over there in Russia. Amazing grappling, amazing wrestling. So this one right here, I think the grappling and wrestling is going to cancel each other out. And I think overall this fight will stay on the feet with Nicole Al-Khatib trying to use that reach and trying to use that height at range 1-2 leg kick. I mean, nasty outside leg kicks, of course. But he's going to need to keep the fight on the feet at range. and try to get the decision win. I think it's possible. We could see a knockout from Nicolas Al-Khatib, but if he's gonna win the fight, it would be by decision. And if Ray Cooper would win the fight, it'd probably be by ground upon TKO. But right here, 50-50 fight on the betting odds. They had Ray Cooper the third as a 2-1 favorite at the beginning of the betting odds, but now plus 110 for Ray Cooper the third. I agree with these betting odds right now. I do think it's a 50-50 fight, but Ray Cooper the third needs to get the fight to the ground and ground and pound, but I don't think that's going to happen with the sambo and wrestling background of Nicolas Al-Khatib. I think the fight will stand the feet, and Nicolas will use the high and will use the reach to win the fight. I'm a unanimous decision winner right there. Should be a really, really good fight in the welterweight division right there. Rory McDonald and Gleison and Tibau in the welterweight division. I'm going to say it right now. Easiest prediction besides Magomedkerimov. Easiest predictions on the fight card right here with Rory McDonald and Gleison Tibau. Of course, you know who I'm going to pick. Rory McDonald is going to win the fight either by ground upon TKO or by submission. I think he's going to finish the fight. I think he's going to grapple, and I think he's going to wrestle, and I think he's going to dominate with 22 wins, 6 losses, and 1 draw. The height advantage and a 10-inch reach advantage and a 4-inch height advantage. I mean, even in the striking game, he has the advantage. Even in the age game, he has the advantage. I mean, only 31, 32 years old. Easy prediction right here. Rory McDonald is going to wrestle, is going to grapple his way to a ground upon TKO win or a submission win, or he's going to use that high and he's going to use that reach to kickbox with Gleison Tibau, where he's going to have the advantage as well. So wherever this fight goes, Rory McDonald, in my opinion, is going to win the fight in the wrestling game, in the grappling game, in the striking game, in the kickboxing. Literally everywhere you look at the fight, in the clinch, I really don't care. Wherever you look at the fight, Rory McDonald does have the advantage. It's just an easy prediction, in my opinion. I'm going to go Rory McDonald. Super obvious prediction, and this is one. Again, Rory McDonald, if you have him winning, which of course he's going to win the fight, put him in a parlay. Say you got Nicolas Al-Khatib winning. Say you have, I don't know, Cesar Bajeta winning, Antonio Carlos Jr. winning. Just put Rory McDonald in. Put Magomedkerimov in. It doesn't matter. If you're going to be doing any sort of straight bet, any sort of parlay, you have to put Rory and you have to put Magomedkerimov right there. But it's an easy prediction. I, of course, have Rory McDonald winning that fight. My TKO or submission in the first or second round right there. Should be a really, really good dominant performance win right there for Rory McDonald right there. But yeah, guys, that is my full card prediction. I got Rory McDonald winning his fight, Nicolas Al-Khatib winning his fight, Emiliano Sordi winning his fight, Cesar Bajeta winning his fight. 50-50 right here, but slightly leaning towards Antonio Carlos Jr. To win that fight right there. Martin Hamlin Nelson, of course, winning that fight right there. Joao Zeferino, of course, winning that. I mean, Magomedkerimov, of course, winning that fight right there. Jordan Young winning that fight. And then the underdog, maybe, possibly, I think this is another one that is a 50-50 fight, but it's slightly, very, very slightly leaning Alexei Gushenko right there. But let's look at some parlays we could make for the fight card. Of course, any parlay you're going to be doing, Rory McDonald, and then, of course, you're going to be adding Magomedkerimov right there. I'm curious. I don't know if I'm going to add Martin Hamlin Nelson, or I'm probably going to add Joao Zeferino, because minus 300 seems really, really good in my opinion. So, Joao Zeferino, Rory McDonald, and Magomedkerimov right there. Pretty good odds right there, minus 141, and just one more person we could add to make this a lot more spicy of a parlay right here, and that person would be, let's see, I'm going to add maybe Jordan Young, but I think that's a little bit too much. I'm probably going to add Martin Hamlin Nelson. I'm definitely not adding Antonio Carlos Jr., not adding Cesar Bajeta. Those two odds are a little bit too spread out. Definitely not adding Emiliano Sordi, Nicolas Al-Khatib, and Ray Cooper III. Pretty 50-50. So I'll probably add Martin Hamlin Nelson right there. This is going to be my parlay, plus 153. And if you want to, maybe you add Nicolas Al-Khatib. The odds right there. I do have all of these guys waiting their fights. Plus 333, honestly not too bad. I think there's going to be a lot better opportunities to bet on the fight card once the prop bets do come out. But once the prop bets do come out, make sure you guys notify me, because I will be doing a prop bet analysis on PFL week 5 right there. But this is going to be my parlay right here. 3.5 to 1 odds. Rory McDonald is going to win the fight. Magomedkerimov is going to win the fight. Joao Zeferino is going to win that fight. Martin Hamlin Nelson probably going to win the fight. I think he should be around a 3-1 favorite in my opinion. Nicole Alakasen should probably win the fight, and I do like the odds right there, but should be a really, really good fight right here. Every single fight on here is a really, really good fight, but that's my parlay. This is my full card prediction, and thank you guys for watching. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, everything like that. And if you like the video, thanks for watching. Yeah, and we'll see you in the next video. Let's go. Let's get it.